The solutions outlined in this series of videos will benefit everyone. They will even benefit the wealthy who at the present moment seem to be benefiting disproportionately from our systems. Now, how is that possible? Well, even the wealthy must drink water, breathe air, and eat food. If our corporate systems are creating unhealthy air, contaminated food supplies, and innumerable other problems that having money can't get you out of, then we can create a system that benefits everyone, including the people who benefit the most from the current system. These changes we've talked about will benefit everyone, including the wealthy. And it will benefit everyone who supports them, such as lobbyists and wealth managers. We're all people living in our societies. It may seem like the wealthy and the people serving them benefit from the current situation. And while they do, it's only really possible to believe this taking a very short-term and narrow perspective, primarily just looking at how much money they make. Taking a broader and longer-term perspective of self-interest changes the calculation. Everyone must breathe air, drink water, and eat food. We all use public infrastructure and a wide range of other products and services. All of these aspects of society deteriorate with time by allowing corporate interests to dominate public decision-making. People who benefit from manipulating the political system in one area will have a disadvantage in all other areas. For example, if you bribe a politician, donate to a politician, and you get a law passed that favors your business. This may, in the short term, and from a very narrow financial perspective, benefit you. But you live in a society where everyone else is doing this, which means all of the services, all of the products, every aspect of the society you live in is being corrupted by others doing the same thing in their area, in their industry. So you suffer. Even though one person benefits in one area, that person suffers in every other area. Cumulatively, these add up massively. And if we were to compare a society that didn't have corporate corruption in its political system versus one that does, the opportunity costs of what we are not living in, the society we're not living in, is massive. But it's hard to imagine because we don't currently live in that society. The collective potential for productivity, creativity, innovation, and everything else is hampered and deteriorated by having corporate influence in politics. We forgo having a better society so that a small few can have more money. That's it. We could have a better society with cleaner air, less homelessness, less poverty. Our societies could be better in every way if we were to remove the ability of corporations to influence politics, because we would then be able to fix so many of the very important problems facing our societies. People at the bottom of our societies understand this. It's people who are benefiting from the status quo who have a hard time understanding that our societies and their lives would be better if we could just get corporate interests out of politics. The privileged in a society usually do not realize that a societal collapse is underway until it's too late. We are in the middle of a societal collapse. Whether you agree with that or not will tell you where you are in the social hierarchy. If you think everything is okay and things are going well, then you probably live a very privileged life. But for more and more people each year, the problems of our current system are becoming starkly obvious, and these problems are only going to get worse. The disadvantages from not having a separation of corporation and state may not be immediately apparent. This is because they are indirect, take a long time to materialize, and kind of hard to understand. It's very easy to understand the direct benefits from getting paid to do a job, even if that job is to help corporate interest influence politics. The benefits are direct, concrete, and short-term. The costs are indirect, more abstract, and longer term. Lobbyists earn high salaries for their efforts. Politicians receive donations for their election campaigns. Donors receive favorable access, legislation, or policies. Accountants earn good salaries finding tax loopholes. Wealth managers receive a percentage for managing fortunes. All of these people benefit in some way, and the benefit is direct to them, it's easy to understand, and it doesn't take long. But all of these people must live in a society that is slowly coming undone. They will suffer and do suffer from living in a society that has been manipulated for private gain. Taxes on the rich decline, and this leaves less money for public infrastructure or everything else. As corporate power and profits rise, so too does inequality and poverty. Along with that, crime and the rule of law breaks down. The durability of products declines as planned obsolescence increases corporate profits, but makes everything we buy garbage. We buy with our money. Our money is our time. And so if everybody is living in a society where everything is being designed not to last, even if you benefit from helping the wealthy manage their money or lobbying government on their behalf, you still live in a society where everything you buy turns to garbage. Resources get depleted at a much faster rate. Waste goes up, and conflict over the more scarce resources increases. We get drawn into wars because we're wasting resources producing things not to last. Our environment deteriorates. The quality of air we breathe goes down, the land gets poisoned, the water gets polluted. All so that a few people can become more wealthy and have more money than they know what to do with. At this point, they're so rich, they don't even know what the money means. It's just a number that they're competing with each other. It's ridiculous. As this process gets worse, we start to see life expectancy decline. We see people with greater levels of anxiety and depression and hopelessness for the future. It becomes too expensive to have children, and the population levels start to decline. This is the death of a society. This is societal collapse. It's happened before for very similar reasons. The details are different, but the trajectory is the same. The causes are the same. It's just a modern version of the same societal collapses that have happened many, many times over. As mass suffering increases, anger increases. This is very destabilizing. At some point, the mass majority has very little to lose, and it becomes quite easy to tip them over the edge, at which point violence is the only option. This, again, has happened many times. People compete for resources. They compete for what meager scraps are left behind by the super wealthy. This is a very unstable society. We then have to dedicate more resources to police and military and other forms of security. People need to have gated communities to protect them from the poor who are scavenging for scraps. So this provides an example of where the wealthy will benefit from a better society. They'll be safer. For those wealthy individuals who are not sociopaths and genuinely care for other humans, they can feel less anxiety and guilt about their position in society because they will live in a more fair and equitable society that distributes resources better to those who need it. This doesn't mean we'll have a society where it's just everyone has the same. I'm not advocating for a complete leveling of all incomes and everyone gets to pay the same. That's propaganda, and if you fall for it, you're a fool. All I'm saying is we need to get money out of politics, and we can decide what to do after that. All I'm saying is we need a separation of corporation and state so that voters can decide on what policies and legislation we want to live under. I am not advocating for any kind of distribution. I'm simply saying that if we have a political system that actually listens to people, then we will have a stable society that looks out for the interests of the majority. The gradual collapse of a society takes decades or even centuries. We are in the middle of that process whether you realize it or not. If we can get money out of politics, we can reverse this trend. If we don't reverse it, our society will continue to deteriorate until some crisis point tips it over the edge and we live through, or our future generations live through, a much more accelerated and radical collapse of our society. The true costs of allowing money to manipulate politics accumulate over time. These processes take decades or centuries to materialize to the extent that they become blatantly obvious. But we have reached that point. They are blatantly obvious to anyone willing to pay attention. Whether or not you agree with this position will tell you where you fit in society. It will tell you how much you have drunk the Kool-Aid to believe that the system we have now is working. Because it isn't. For most people, it isn't. If you think it is, you're probably in a very privileged position. But I'm here to tell you that if we change the system, even you will benefit. Everyone will benefit from getting corporate money out of public affairs. The sooner we do this, the better. And if we don't, we won't be the first society to collapse, and we won't be the last. When a very small minority captures the political system and uses it to further their own private interests and doesn't know any limits, this has been the cause, or one of the causes, behind previous collapses of societies. Classes of elites that lose touch with the reality of regular people. This is what's going on in our society today. We need to get corporate money out of politics. We need to ban corporate donations in support of political parties. We need to institute public financing of political parties so that one of the only ways they can get money is with each vote. We need to ban individual donations and the ability of people to self-fund their own political parties and campaigns, because these things favor wealthy interests. A little side benefit would be having compulsory voting because of the incentive structures that sets up. Primary among these incentives is that it forces politicians to take into consideration everyone, because everyone's turning up. That's a very important aspect of compulsory voting we don't talk about enough. We need to implement changes in our education curriculum to reinforce all of the reasons why a separation of corporation and state is essential. All of these changes and solutions must be embedded in the Constitution in a way that prevents them from being packaged with other legislation or constitutional changes. Each issue must be dealt with separately, and each issue must require a supermajority of voters. This makes it very hard to change. That's important, because we don't want a situation where we have a corporate-friendly political party take over and reverse the legislation. If it's only legislation, it's too easy to change back to the old ways. This has been the first topic for Change Ideas. If you like it, please follow along the various channels. Subscribe and sign up for membership in one of the areas we offer those for exclusive content. Visit the website for more information and links. And also we'll have some forums and workshops and meetings for people that want to discuss these ideas and help refine them, and to hear each other's other ideas that we maybe didn't consider. So if you want to be involved, please visit changeideas.org. Please donate or get a membership to help support this effort. Follow along on your favorite platform. And yeah, let's get money out of politics. Let's look forward to a society that has a separation between corporation and state, the same way that we benefit from having a separation between church and state.